I'm going to break the shackles that for so long had bound me to the lost souls in the ghetto.
Can't be on the same page when we in two totally different chapters.
So how many times we gonna watch our brothers perish?
They're already killing us.
Because you're poison.
I am whatever you want me to be. Do you really think I asked to be like this?
Please live it in.
I'm sorry for the pain I've dealt.
This isn't my fault, but something is off.
I am a human being.
How did I get here?
Sure, how do I jug a knife against your skin? Find parasites in it.
When I say CC, you say P. CC. CC. When I say drop the, you say Mike. Drop the. Mike. Drop the. Mike. When I say I love, you say poetry. I love. Poetry. I love. Poetry. Give it up for drop the mic. Let's get it started.
What's up, CCP? How y'all feel today? So happy to hear that, and welcome to round 2 of audition day 2 of season 4 of Drop the Mic. Please give it up for yourselves being in the audience this afternoon. Please, yes, give yourselves a round of applause. We're so happy to have you here. My name is Dr. Michelle Myers, and I'm an associate professor in the English department here at Community College of Philadelphia, and I'm so proud to be able to present to you this second round featuring 12 of our amazing student poets here at Community College of Philadelphia. And Drop the Mic is a 3-time Emmy-nominated show. Can we get some love for being 3-time Emmy-nominated? So proud of that. And again, that is a testament to just how powerful our students' work is, and we're just so happy to be able to celebrate it. So just as a reminder, I want to go over the rules really quickly. Each one of our poets will be called up. It's all done at random. The lineup is done at random. At the end of the show, I'm going to announce the top 6 poets, okay, that will move on to the final showcase next week to perform against the poets who were the top 6 from last week from audition day 1, okay? So we're super excited about that. So as far as the rules, each poet will come up when I call them to the stage, and they have 3 minutes and 15 seconds to perform their piece. If they go over 3 minutes and 15 seconds, then their score will be penalized. The judges will penalize a half point for each second they go over, okay? And so speaking of our judges, I'd like to turn to our illustrious panel of judges. Please give it up for our judges. We couldn't do this without them. So introducing our judges, starting with the judge closest to the audience, we have Kevin Covington. Please make some noise for Kevin. He's a support coach in the Center for Male Engagement here at Community College of Philadelphia. And next to Kevin, we have Elizabeth Catanese. Please put your hands together for Elizabeth. Elizabeth is an assistant professor in the English department here at Community College of Philadelphia. And next to Elizabeth, we have Alicia Dantzler. Please make some noise for Alicia. Alicia is a graduate of CCP. Please show her some love for being a graduate. She also has gotten her bachelor's degree. She's going to go on to get her master's, so we're super proud of her. She's a poet in the local Philadelphia spoken word poetry scene. And next to Alicia, we have Black Cancer. Please put your hands together for Black Cancer. He's filling as a guest judge today, and Black Cancer was our 3rd place winner from season 3 last year. Please give it up for him for being our 3rd place winner last season. He's also been on several other seasons of Drop the Mic, and he is filling in as a guest judge for DeForio Barlow, who's our usual judge, and DeForio is a testing specialist in the assessment center, but he couldn't be here with us today. So we're very excited to have Black Cancer on our judges panel. So are you all ready to hear some poetry? Everybody say yeah? Yeah! Okay, so please keep that energy up. We want our poets to feel the love from the audience. If you hear anything that you really like, please snap your fingers or clap or respond back to our poets, because they'll really, really, really appreciate it, okay? So poet on deck is Fiona. And coming to the mic first, we have EC. Please make some noise for EC.
Holding onto your britches, you're ready for what's in store. You're a little bit scared because you're not quite sure. At first, it's easy to stay motivated, escalated. Then you start to feel a little bit frustrated. Down a twisted path you go. You're in a sunken place, hidden behind your own shadow. In the dark, you search for the light. You know you got to get out because you know you got to fight. You know you got to fight so that you will be all right. So you begin to run. But you start to feel your bones break one by one. And now you're stuck, left here thinking, oh, what the fuck? It's hard to continue when you got no fight left in you. Your mind is on E. Your eyes cannot see. You're bound to the ground under lock with no key. But listen, there's nothing you can do without the strength of God. If you're kind and good, he will never be fraud. Hold on to his word, it's your fighting rod. Never have to worry because he's in your squad. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who dwells in it. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for EC. Kevin, do you have some feedback?
I do. EC, great piece. Really good use of pauses there. You really commanded the piece. It was a little longer, so we were able to kind of stick there. And I love the way you wrapped it up. Even with the pauses where people thought you may have ended it, you still have more to add. So it was a really, overall, really well-performed piece.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
I think it was a very confident performance. I liked the moment where the bones were cracking. I could visualize everything you were talking about in the start of the piece. And then you gave us more at the end in the more empowered vein about how to solve that God can be a way to solve problems when you are having a lot of problems. So really good job.
Thank you. Alicia.
I like all the references about being stuck, the sunken place, needing to get out. I like those references, as well as just your pacing was really well. As Kevin said, you took the appropriate pauses when needed, and you allowed that to carry you through your piece. Even though it was short, it didn't seem short. So I like that.
Thank you. And Black Cancer.
Nice piece. I feel like this performance was stronger than the last one, so that's a definite plus. I like how you narrated the piece. You paid attention to detail as far as animation with your hands, the pace. You were more comfortable while performing. You were conservative, but not offsetting. It fit right in the pocket with like the way you draw towards the end. So that was a good job.
Thank you, judges. Please, one more time for EC. Poet on deck is Monty. And coming to the mic, we have Fiona. Please put your hands together for Fiona. Hi. Hello. Love took me hostage, held me captive to his whims, and had me pining for something that wasn't meant to be. Our love didn't resemble the films, our happiness was fleeting, gone with the wind, but you were like fire that taught me pain as a child. Only your flames left me with wounds I cannot heal. It's like the saying, no mud, no lotus, only I'm not a flower, I am a forest, and although you scorch my grounds, I will heal, and from the ashes I will rise, and you will pay for toying with my heart. Your due will come when the broken heart you carved your name into no longer hold traces of your vandalism. Your due will come when light returns to the eyes that cried over you for endless nights. Your due will come when the forest fire you spread give life to stronger trees and plants. Your due will come when I found the antidote to your poison, and that antidote is me learning to love myself because you are not my other half and I'm already whole. Your due will come. Oh, sorry. And now you will pay your dues in full, drown in your own sea of regret as you see me enveloped in happiness right where your arms used to rest. One more time for Fiona. Elizabeth, do you have some feedback?
I loved I am not a flower, I'm a forest, and how you riffed off of that, all of the imagery with light and fire and the repetition of your due will come. It was a fantastic performance.
Thank you. Thank you. Alicia.
I love the piece itself. I kind of wish you would have slowed down at certain points so we could just like actually enjoy the dopeness behind some of the lines that you had, because you had several within the piece. But I really like your feistiness when you come to the stage. I just wish there was some moments where you could have slowed down and then jumped back into that feistiness.
Thank you. Black Cancer.
I like the lines, especially how you started off. Love took me hostage. Flames left me with wounds I cannot heal or something similar to that. Sorry if I got it wrong. My question is what happened, because the first piece you performed, you were way stronger and you know it too. So this second piece, I expected you to be a little bit more comfortable and you seemed like you were the opposite. So don't let your nerves get to you, because you already know that you got it as far as presenting the piece. So it was a good job. I just was a little concerned a little bit. So be easy. Just drop the mic.
Thank you. And Kevin?
Yeah, definitely really enjoyed the piece. Like Black Cancer said, there was a little hesitancy there, but I like the fact that when you come on, you go right into it. And even when you stumbled a little bit, you own them. It's like, all right, I got this. Let me just go. And then you end it, no matter how powerful the piece is, you end it with that smile, like, I'm done. It's like, wow. It's like that innocent bass comes back again. So it was a really, really nice piece.
Thank you. Thank you, judges. Please, one more time for Fiona. So the poet on deck is Riley, and coming to the mic we have Monty. Please, some applause for Monty.
Well, I could say this is my first time actually being in any type of spoken word poet competition, so it was a new experience for me.
Bebop bop, bebop bop, a bebop bop, a dibbity doo up top.
Hold up, cops is on the block. Better stop. Don't want to get my top pop headed to my hot spot. No, not the hot spot where they sell rocks out of dollar socks, pop shots, keep the Glock. Nah, that's not my hot spot. No, not the hot spot where you see Scott pop lock, the fast pop or a slow pop saying, I wanna rock, I wanna rock, I wanna rock, I wanna rock. Nah, that's not my hot spot. No, not the hot spot where you see thoughts dressed in see-through clothes like polka dots, dropping it like it's hot, looking for the guy in the drop top to hit the G spot. I ain't got no drop top. I ain't looking for no thought. But that's definitely not my hot spot. Okay, I'm lying. Sometimes that's my hot spot, but only when I'm looking for a hot thought to play with my lollipop on my countertop, tabletop, or desktop until I release a few drip drops and send her back to her hot stop. But that's not the hot spot that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hot spot where you keep the Xbox, teapots, big pots, small pots. Rest when you get the small pots. The hot spot at the end of the day where you just stand in front of that bed and go plop. I got to be careful going to my hot spot. I don't want to get my top pop by a dumb cop on my block just because my skin is pop.
Give it up one more time for Monty. Alicia, do you have some feedback?
I like how you played with that rhyme scheme. And each time you did say something different. And I think I really enjoyed that because I'm just sitting there listening to the next way that you're going to use this rhyme scheme and how you're going to incorporate the line or the story that you're telling within it. I think I like that playfulness of how you chose your words.
Thank you. Black Cancer.
The cops on the block, the scheme, the rhyme scheme, I got that. It felt like you was actually playing on, if I'm not mistaken, Bad and Bougie.
No, actually, I actually thought about that poem is like a year and some change. Oh, it came out. I don't know when Bad and Bougie came out, but I didn't hear that song before that.
All right, so I did like the rhyme scheme. I like what I thought you was playing with the Bad and Bougie song. My critique is you gotta feel it a little bit more. You was out of place this round a little bit, and even now, I don't know what happened, but the energy shifted. Bring back the energy, take it back, own the stage, and commit to everything that you say. That's it. Good job.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, I really like this piece too. First one went over, this one fell way short, and then even when it stopped, kind of looked at Alicia like, wait, there's still something there. It's like, yeah, is that it? Like I said, it's a mark of a good poem when you want something else, when you want some more. I definitely love the flow of it. But yeah, just if it's going to be that short, don't give it to us all at once. Just kind of like, the pacing is key. But good piece, good piece.
Thank you. And Elizabeth.
I wanted a little bit of a pause when you got to what the hot spot was. So we had what the hot spot was not got the same kind of tonal work as what it was. So just a pause in between would have helped to land the ending. Good job.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Monty. So the poet on deck is Meek Boss, and coming to the mic we have Riley. Please make some noise for Riley.
Dear anxiety, thank you. Thank you for making sure that I always played on the safe side, that I remained both humble and cautious, saved me multiple times from looking like an idiot for making bad decisions. Thank you. No, scratch that, let's backtrack. Dear anxiety, fuck you for always holding me back, for infecting my mind with self-doubt and filling me to the brim with regret and bitterness. I wish I never met you. You're like an old ex I can't seem to get rid of because we have all the same friends, and every Valentine's Day you leave a dozen dead roses in my mailbox, leaving me to wonder why being with you was ever a good idea to start with. Anxiety, you're the reason why I haven't done stupid things my whole life. You know, the stupid things that kids are supposed to do, why I was always the kid in the background of everyone else's stories because there's safety in being forgotten. But what if I didn't want to be forgotten? What if for once I wanted to be remembered, not as just extra in somebody else's narrative, but for once be the main character? Anxiety, instead of letting me go about my day, you make me double check, no triple check the doors to see if I actually locked them, and by the time I've gotten on the bus, I fear I've forgotten to turn off the oven. Despite the fact I never cook, I still ask someone to take a look, otherwise it'll bother me all day, but I guess it's just a small price to pay to be a constant annoyance. Speaking of which, that's all I seem to do. It's like every time a sound escapes my lips, it's like I trip some silent alarm and I had better hurry to go shut it off. Anxiety, this is not soil in which a young sapling can thrive in. It's rocky and lacking in nourishment, devoid of all the nutrients needed for a blossom to bloom. Anxiety, what happened to you? You were once supposed to be a voice of reassurance, my voice of reason, the same one that reminds you that everything will be okay. Now look at you. Dear anxiety, yes, you have kept me alive, but you have kept me from truly living. Thank you.
Make some noise one more time for Riley. Black Cancer, do you have some feedback?
Yes, you've kept me alive. I like that line. I don't have to say it completely because we know what it is. You just ended with it. What was it? Not soil or not oil was another line. All right, I like that line. Voice of reassurance. Good subject matter. You present it as if it was personal, but details made it universal, and that's key because that's like relativity or that's relatable. Good turned into angry or intolerable real fast. So I like the pace and I like the shift in the poem because it started off kind of in the beginning. So good job. No, nothing bad to say.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, I like the way that you were able to take a really difficult topic and deliver it really, really well. There may have been a time or two during the performance where you may have stumbled a little bit, but you still got real comfortable. You got back to that comfortable place and then began to go in more with the story. And I like the fact that how you came out of it as well. And like Black Cancer said, you know, the general details kind of made it approachable for everybody. But I thought it was a really strong performance again.
Yeah, actually, I forgot an entire verse in it.
I'm sorry?
I forgot a whole verse.
But we don't know.
We didn't know. Yeah. Thank you. Elizabeth.
Yeah, I think you're a fantastic performer, especially to have recovered from potentially forgetting. The format of the letter to anxiety or anxiety being almost personified in the poem was really powerful for me. And again, I felt your emotion in the poem.
And Alicia.
I like the personification of anxiety as well. I think that's something a lot of people deal with. They just don't know how to put a name to it. So finding a way to share that in a poem is also a learning moment for others. And I really dig the line where you said void of all nutrients, one needs to, I think that was a dope line. And just how you look at the subject matter and tied it into the poem. Great job.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Riley. Thank you. Poet on deck is Ty, and coming to the mic we have Meek Boss. Please put your hands together for Meek Boss.
There's a lot of great talent out there, so it's more so not the competition aspect for me, but just getting my message out there. I came out to my parents and watched helplessly as they cried. And ever since then, No matter how much I tried to swallow my pride, these tears from social fears may never subside. Can you believe? Word of the wise says, there's a treasure at the end of every rainbow. Or is that some bullshit that was never said? My mornings yield no rainbows. In fact, every morning I wake, I feel I'd be better off dead. Tell me, how can a lifestyle cost me a life of pure dread? This life, my life. Afraid to show affection to the one I call dear. Reluctant to hesitate in random spaces, reluctant to pull them near. Tell me, since when has love become fear? Did I miss some memo where all gays and lesbians were treated as less humane? Or is this truthfully such a toxic world, not meant for delicate pearls, such as unique boys and girls, so our love cannot sustain? Why are we harassed on street corners and bashed on social media? Because of society's false definitions of our love, what is just as superficial as any bullshit from Wikipedia. Tell me, is our love so brazen that an entire nation can influence itself to hate without reason another human that breathes the same air? Or is it truthfully because I'm inattentive to society's cares and oblivious to random despising stares? You see, I am a victim of misguided judgments, shackled and bound by society's hate, a prisoner of my uncontrollable love. I'm the pain behind these very words. I am the struggles of every LGBTQ suicide victim. I am their silenced voices, finally heard. Meek Boss.
Make some noise one more time for Meek Boss. Kevin, do you have some feedback?
Yeah, I didn't like this. Meek, the way you delivered this, I love your style. It's never too high, never too low, but then the stuff that you're delivering is so deep, you gotta sit back and like, yo. And then you come out of it, Meek Boss. So I love the delivery, I love it, real nice.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
I think what I'm realizing is that there's a real subtle rhyme scheme within your work that it does not take over the piece at all. It helps us to remember it, and it's just so carefully crafted, but it's delivered in a way as if you're casually talking to us in the living room, and that's beautiful. You did a great job.
Alicia.
I agree with Elizabeth. Just being able to you have a way to tell stories, but also just use all these different techniques within your poetry, which is really dope. And then you hit the one line where you said, "I'm the pain behind these words." It's weird because I was thinking that in my head, I can see that, I can hear that when you perform. So the fact that you said it in this piece, it was dope. I'm like, yeah, I was about to write that. So that's dope.
Thank you.
And Black Cancer.
I'm a fan of lines. So you had a lot of lines when you said, "When has love become fair?" and you pause. That just stuck with me. And I love when poets do that, when they make certain things stick with you. That won't ever leave me. And to piggyback, I'm the painter behind these words. I mean, there's not too much else to say about that. We are artists and we are artistic, and you definitely epitomize that. You come out here, you do what you do, and you seem very comfortable compared to last time. So I definitely give kudos to you. You stepped it up. Good job, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Meek Boss. So coming to the mic now, we have Ty. Please make some noise for Ty.
This one is called Tightrope Between Life and Death. I wish I wasn't born because I never want to die, but it's cool because I heard you die twice. Once you close your eyes, twice when you speak in your life for the last time. That kind of shit makes me lose my mind. That's why I write rhymes. Cause your words last longer than you do, but to be deaf is kind of futile. Enjoying life is kind of useful. This kind of shit I think on the usual. Who do you think will be at my funeral? Mom, bros, money, clothes, friends, foes, not these hoes. They could show up, but the truth is that your boy was born to die alone. I'll dig my grave on my own. I'm sorry for the pain I've dealt. Sorry for the pain that you felt. Sorry, but the truth is, it was useless. Try to make excuses. Man, I was ruthless. Thought it was cool shit to listen to music. In the end, how could I be so stupid? In the end, I think it was all just a cry for help. I'm in my head all by myself. It's like I scream and I shout, but no one can hear it coming from my mouth. My world has gone south. Living in this world with all this doubt, it's driving me insane. Playing this devilish game, who's to blame when my beast can't be tamed? My gut is dead, screaming off my head. I feel dead inside.
Give it up for Ty. Elizabeth, do you have some feedback?
I like in your poems how you have the use of the I'm sorry or the apology, and then you sort of turn that around. I think that you could have ended the poem right there without giving us any indication that maybe it wasn't done. It felt like fully formed to me. You did a good job.
Thank you. Alicia?
I would just say, like, work on your projection, because I missed, like, a couple words. I missed, and I know, like, from your last piece, you're a dope writer, so I always want to catch everything, and I missed some of the lines. And I think your tone, it actually works for this piece, but if you project it more, it would have come across a little better.
Black Cancer.
I did like the piece. It's a few critiques. You still have to engage the audience. You have to look up from time to time. You have to enunciate or pronunciate when you say your words or whatever, because the poem itself deserved more passion. And I know that you had that, especially when you were like coming to the mic and you were trying to spit it with the flow that you had. It needed to be paced a little bit better so that way a lot more people could feel it the way that we wanted to. Because we already seen you the first time. So the second time that you came up, we expected a lot more. You didn't disappoint. You just could have did better. So keep that in mind. Good job, though, man.
And Kevin?
Yeah, definitely veggie backing on what Black Cancer just said. It wasn't the piece that I struggled with. It was the delivery of the piece. So at some point, I was kind of leaning up like, okay, what is he saying? It's almost like you even spoke even lower and then got faster. I'm like, okay, now I'm missing everything. And then you kind of, especially when you get to the part about your own funeral, it's a dramatic piece. And you kind of give us some time to kind of get into it, because if you breeze past it, we're going to breeze past the meeting too. So, but yeah, just the delivery of it.
Thank you, judges. Please, one more time for Ty. Can we also have another round of applause for all the poets who perform in the first?
People are they'll just ride you, basically. They'll ride your wave. It's a bunch of yes men all the time around you. But with the judges, they don't know me. And it's not that they had a personal connection, it's just they wanted to feel what I was feeling. So they projected what they wanted me to do.
We have on deck, Gage De Leon, and coming to the mic, we have Nick. Please.
Honestly, I didn't come in here wanting to win. I just wanted to get it out. So if I make it, then I make it. If I don't, I'm okay. There's so much talent in this crowd, so.
Radiation. I'm standing at a party with over 100 people. I can't capture you out of this crowd, yet I can feel you. You release a chemical that is so gripping and distracting. I know you're thinking about me. I can feel my molecules heating up. You make the hairs on my neck extremely attentive. I swear I'm about to combust. The light that you created is too hot for me to consume. Every time I try to write about you, I sweat, dripping raindrops of passion on paper. I want to smoke with papers just to calm down. The beams you create are too intense, too robust for me to feed off of. If I could be with you tonight, I would. You are the mad scientist that created my affection. It's admirable how much you give. What you release to the universe is abnormal. Those who are exposed to your presence might mutate. Mad scientists, please, let me in your lab and experiment on me. Transform me. Whatever you want me to be, I'll be. Clone me if I'm not enough for you. You are much more than enough for me. Last night I tried to touch you. Every time my hands got close, they began to melt, turning into a liquid that is not as sweet as your elixir. What you are cannot be defined. I'm convinced you are inhuman. I'm bounded by your benevolence. Who knew that the atoms that make me could attract the cells that make you? I hate and love this alteration I'm going through, but that's just what you do. See, what you done is release some radiation on my skin, got me feeling like I can't be touched by anyone else. Although other beams of light may catch my eye, your energy redirects me. You make my chemical imbalance feel balanced, and when our two energies finally fuse together, a chemical reaction will occur, leaving us weak, sweaty, and satisfied. Thank you.
Put your hands together one more time for Nick. One more time for Nick, everyone, please. Thank you. Alicia, do you have some feedback?
I like the way you took the idea of like radiation and you played on different elements of it, how it would make you feel, how it would make you look, but using it is like you drove that throughout the piece, and I think that was really dope.
Thank you. Black Cancer.
How smooth was that? That's a poem that I would perform if I was surrounded by a bunch of women. You trying to get cool points. I like the mad scientist line. Mad scientist that created was it perfection or imperfections? Perfection. Right. Okay. All right. God forgive me. I'll be trying to get a lot down. What else did I say? Good descriptions to the point I felt like I was almost there for a moment. Nice pace. You got into the piece, and that was good because you were reading it. Nice vocabulary. It wasn't too sweet. It was just right for the flow and the cadence to the audience. So good job, Nick.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, definitely. I understand you're reading it from a piece of paper, but you always remember to kind of connect with the audience, and it didn't sound like you were reading it straight from the paper, which is really good, and it's really difficult too. It's because you have to. It's hot on that stage. I mean, you get the lights and everything going on, and you know you got a timer going on, so it's really good, and I like the clever. Wordplay. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we'll pick up on that too. Good piece.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
I really liked the way that the poem is again addressed to another you. You have a whole collection of you poems. I liked the last line. The last word was really powerful. Weak, sweaty, and satisfied. That paradox was awesome. You did a great job.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Nick. Thank you so much. So the poet on deck is Ebo.
This poem is about the current state of Puerto Rico. I have family there. I have tons of relatives there, in fact. And right now, the government is saying that they are helping them, but they're only giving aid to specific places instead of the island in general. So not enough aid is going around. There is a saying that ignorance is bliss, but as a Puerto Rican, the saying is a mist. Our island is weakened, yet the government persists that they will assist, only to dismiss the lack of assistance, even though the aid is inconsistent. Puerto Rico burned our damn budget. Our bad, we should have used our better judgment. Next hurricane, we'll use our fucking buckets. A leader calling us ungrateful, instead of asking what's the issue. That's just neglectful. I'm glad the people of Houston got the assistance they deserve. But what about Puerto Rico, just to leave them by the curve? From what's observed, they have the nerve to blame us. That's just not deserved. But our bad, we burned your damn budget. Next hurricane, we'll bury our dead with our buckets.
One more time for Gage. Black Cancer, do you have some feedback?
You shut me up. You came with it this time. I like that, John, man. Your left hand is funny, too. I watch everything about a person, so when you're performing, I'm just looking, and you're like this while you're trying to give it. I like the rhyme scheme. Clever topic of discussion. Very important right now, so you get good points for that. Inflections in your voice to put emphasis on certain words or statements, that was good. You were very mindful of the stage, of your audience and everything. I have no problem with you this time. Good job, man.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, just as you started, I talked to Elizabeth. I said, I wonder if he's going to get closer to the mic so we can actually hear him. And you started out, and you like, I can't be heard, and you step right in. So I love the connection right there. This piece had actually fire, its passion, and then just the way you left it, you dropped the mic on it, and I like it. I really like it. Good performance. Good performance.
Thank you. Elizabeth.
Again, a really important topic, a great mix of anger and also reason. Really powerful for me.
Thank you. And Alicia?
Everybody basically said everything that I was thinking, but I did write short but passionate. It was dope.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Gage. The poet on deck is Psychology, and coming to the mic now we have Ebo. Please make some noise for Ebo.
Whenever I perform, I try to do a disclaimer or intro, so they were more a cappella freestyles.
Behind shades, my mind sways with the pendulum's arc. From blind rays, I find ways to let my filament spark. My time graved, I'll die scathed with the gentleman's part. I can't take cloth to suit just to fit with the Clarks. I'm superb. The only brother to move so smooth through molecules. Smart enough to catch the right angle of an hypotenuse. I could lose a 747 jet with 1,000 miles of fuel. Be on the brink of exhaustion and still have enough to pick up truck and never drop a jewel. My fortress of solitude is a silent tune that brings through my air a negative 92. Clocking at a speed so fast that even sounding off will be found in awe. I break barriers. Cracked atoms get bound in gauze. Forget a cipher. This is how you round applause. Now check the cycle. If Bay sin, I'll take Ken with projected hot rounds, see he, Liam. Catch a knockout, my box count is per diem. If you nerds want to exchange words, then come see him. I find flows and ponchos behind blindfolds, and you stupid enough to think my third sleep and I curve drinking. You're just a steady combination of oxy and gin. Can't copy the Mach 10 with such a concocted sedation. See, it's pivotal, you know Ebo, no playgrounds. You got wordplay, I got word playground.
Give it up one more time for Ebo. Kevin, you have some feedback?
Yo, stay introverted. Yo, kente cloth, the suit, the Clarks, the match with the Clark. Come on, man. Stop playing. Nice piece. Real nice.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
I loved the beginning with the Let My Filament Spark, the way that your hands moved throughout the piece, and then the last words about the word playground, they were really awesome. It was a great piece.
Alicia?
Yo, that was dope. It's crazy because you say so much, like to try to sit and be like, yo, he said this, let me write this line down. It's impossible because you say so much, but I love your delivery as well because you make sure when you deliver a line that it hits. Like, if it go over your head, I don't know how it's possible because you make sure you land it and it hits and you get a moment to think about it like, yo, he just said that. That was dope.
And Black Cancer?
Several lines. I like this poem. Extended metaphors. It was too many lines, actually, like they said. So I love the wordplay, the cadence, the conviction, the pronunciation, the rhyme schemes that just go on and on and on. And it's not a typical A and B or A, B, and C. So I actually, you know what I mean when I say that, and I can actually respect that about you. The image is cool as well because it all ties in. So it's like you expect a certain type of, a certain type of persona, or maybe like the way you come off, you expect a certain type of person, and you usually come up here and give the total opposite, as if you feel as though you're underrated, you got a chip on your shoulder, and you could tell. So good job, man. No problem.
Thank you, judges. One more time for Ebo. So the poet on deck is Gadget. And coming to the mic now, we have Psychology. Please make some noise for Psychology.
So this poem right here focuses on each woman and their essence inside of them and everything that I like about it.
Attitude, blessing, stimulated motivation, pursuit, productivity, repossession, representative, valid ID, I manifested conscience, comfort, under influence, new necessity, and combined throughout preferably, kept safe code, deposit box, statement smooth, current ratio, current wave, AM instrumented, poetic sound, snare lightly clean, dollar ultimate deed, bitumen, velocities, periods all sufficient, conversion, dreams, aversions, talk type, Quotes writing mutual, beautiful, valuable treasure. In a self valiant, void space in a veil. From islands proceed, seek, world believe. Current moments in touch, my mental plasma organic. Symmetries, take course, seem infinite. Potassium, water purified, took signs overseas to the motherland. Starship design, saw from visions, third division, slight climax in her lovely eyes. Potassium, water purified, took signs overseas to the motherland. Starship design, saw from visions, third division, slight climax in her lovely eyes. Organic, splint, mental, said moments occur and walk. Seek romantic, persistent, hair or oil, island from the veil, when her face gorgeous, valiant, and a so valuable, mutable, mutual, writing family, type talk versions, your dreams conversion, sufficient, all periods, velocities, virtue, bleed ultimate, dialing clean slightly, lightly, snare sound poetic, instrumental AM, wave current ratio, current smooth, statements, box deposits, safe code kept preferably through combined necessity, newness, influence, under comfort, conscience, her manifest ID valid and sensual, the essence.
One more time for psychology.
Yes.
Elizabeth, do you have some feedback?
I think you took the feedback from the previous round really, really well. So you had these really interesting words strung together, and then you would pause, and then we learned that you were talking about, a person or the essence of a being, and that really came through to me. Good job.
Thanks a lot.
Alicia.
You came up the corner swinging. I like that you had so much energy when you started. I kind of wish I felt that energy carried throughout the piece, because I feel like at times you it tapered down and then it came back up. I kind of wish you carried that energy that you started with throughout the piece and then finished off with that same energy.
Thanks a lot.
Black Cancer.
You were so ready. Like, you came up here calm hype. That's an oxy, but you get what I'm saying when I say that. It was such a whirlwind of words. It was odd conviction to me. Like, at times you were in there, then you were out of pocket, then you be back in. So I don't know how you feeling right now. I'm a spiritual person, so I go off of energy. So your energy was just weird to me. Pace a little bit more with this one. Chill out, chill, let it, you know what I mean? If you forget something or if you need it to come to you, take that moment. You got 3 minutes and 15 seconds. You know what I mean? So just be as comfortable as you want to be, because I seen at times you was, and you want to get it out, and it's like you're so passionate about it that it's hard to do that. I can relate. So just work on those type of things. Other than that, you did a good job, and I like the piece, man.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
And Kevin.
Yeah, you definitely seemed a lot more comfortable on this piece than you did on the first one. Like Black Cancer was saying, I think anytime I struggle with the piece, it's just the pacing. Sometimes it got a little faster and a little slower, and I'm like, all right, where are we going with this? But then I was able to kind of loop back in, but much more comfortable on this piece than the last one. So yeah, good one.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, judges. One more time for psychology. So the poet on deck is Anissa, and coming to the mic we have Gadget. Please put your hands together for Gadget.
The zine itself is about apologies you know you're never going to get or that you can't make to whomever it's due to. And I wrote mine to my body and all the trauma it's faced, and the trauma I still put my body through.
So this piece is going to be coming out in a zine called I'm Sorry. It's a collection of apologies for those things that you know you're never gonna get an apology for, you can't say I'm sorry for. It's curated by Sydney Lazarus. Shout out to Sid all the way in Canada. So without further ado, here's Breeds of Self-Harm, a bodily apology. Manic waves of self-care and meticulous perfection, you are not what I needed. Survival mechanism now vestigial. To the limes and lemons of mis-sunbathing, to the bleach I mispronounced, to the hair growing lighter forever, to the eyebrows growing thinner, to the Instagram hearts never sent. Meet my smashed strawberry smirk and sugar coconut coated lips. Feel these vitamin E breasts since I want no stretched pecs. I still cannot manage a hot bath daily. Doesn't matter, my elastic joints snap. Push everything a little farther, regrets after asking for care back. Cradle this neckline, my gun's trigger, scream is bullet still, I beg. On wasted stationery, the ignored lines, the ink spilled in deaf ear, coming back to this story. I'm growing old, strictly non-compliant to the records. Loop to holidays unfollowed, board the latest trends, culture, tectonic plates push goalposts, move, force near a plastic roofing. Strangers produce friends' masks. Still offers go unaccepted/unrejected. Lysol wipes, Amazon plus IKEA scraps, Ariel's acquisition of the bitter herbs. Boil eggs. Dip in salted steam, the whites in the red for wishing an unfertile crescent. I drag the sacrifice back to hammock, swinging now still.
One more time for Gadget. Alicia, do you have some feedback?
I feel like when I see you perform, it's always you always deliver powerful poems, powerful pieces, and I feel like you do it in a way where it's you can digest it. Like sometimes when you hear so many pieces in there, like heavy pieces or powerful pieces, you feel like it's kind of weighing you down. I don't feel like I get that from you. I feel like you make it in a way in which is digestible and you can keep moving with it.
Thank you. Black Cancer.
I love this piece. It was very interesting, first of all. Second, I like the first line was good and it's clever. And as a poet, that's like a big thing when you have that first line. You kind of cruise through the rest of the poem, and that's how I felt this went. It got grimy, emotional. You're very theatrical, but you keep it well grounded. If that makes sense. It was deep. You pull people into your poem, and then you pull people out of their comfort zones. You know what I mean? So I dig that about you. I like this performance. Good job.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah, I always appreciate how thoughtful your pieces are, how deep they are, and just the way in which you deliver them. And theatrical, I think, is a really good term for it, but also it's really meaningful and purposeful. So I thought it was a really good piece.
Thank you. And Elizabeth.
I felt the pain underneath all of the words, and that was really powerful for me. And just like Black Cancer, like the first line, I thought that the poem ended really beautifully, swaying now still. A great end to the piece as well. Good work.
Thank you, judges. Please, one more time for Gadget. And closing out round 2 of Audition Day 2 of Season 4 of Drop the Mic, we have Anissa. Please make some noise for Anissa.
I knocked out the midterms, and I'm back. So this is the first one that I had shared was a part of a 2-part incantations. This is incantations 1. 1 second, let me get myself together. Okay. Again, it's not performed for spoken word, but I'll make it. What a sodden, sinuous tongue, ye sylph of a spectre. What a viscous, saline, brewed elixir that embalms the corpses of your lecture. Pompous heathen, smitten by obsessive composure, thou art as a waterlogged demon, sitting in the sinews of congealed veins clogged with pleasure. Mourning the gold hoard in your reason's sepulchre, quenchless fiend, all as you roam across the Pharaoh's old land, the bay of the Styx. Less be strict, worse than lepers, sick with slick flesh and marrow meat at the heart of calcified Styx. Those bones you'd hunger to lick, with thick tongues root in a derelict mind rattled by the tempest kicked, where oft Scylla and Charybdis sit, oft in the Pharaoh's old land in the heart of the Styx. Eulogized Ophidian Basilius, the way your words bubble up within amidst those vile secretions of the sinus, as whipping worms neath the cesspool's film. Lest be blessed, they say the right hand knoweth not of what the left hand doeth. Wield the left hand, feast with fools. Sway that bewitched the limb of Midas to choke on gold, sip mercurial gins, and slink with gins in the olive courtyards of the black shocks knew not of, and wash your feet in sins, and clean your hands in the fountain springs. That's all.
Make some noise one more time for Anissa. Black Cancer, do you have some feedback?
Yes. Wonderful lines in this one. You were comfortable. Nice rhyme scheme. Very descriptive and much more of an improvement than the first one. So
Happy tests are done.
You
Or
did-
studying, yeah.
you definitely did good on this one. I like how you presented it as well. And it was a very fair and good pace. So good job, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin.
Yeah, you actually have the story is really, really well written, and I think you have this narrator's voice that kind of takes the listener through this journey, and I thought it was really, really good. Really nice piece.
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, I really like the piece as well. It's sort of like Beowulf meets the Odyssey, and then like with some fantasy
That's my
thrown in.
favorite.
Yeah, so I can really see that reflected in there. Great work.
Thank you.
And Alicia.
I think you definitely did a better job delivering this piece. What I like about you between this piece as well as the other piece, I feel like I had a moment during your performance where I just like closed my eyes and just listened to what you were saying, so I can really try to interpret the words and how you're sharing. So I feel like I would love to hear more material or read more material from you because you're just a great writer.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, judges. Please, one more time for Anissa. And can we have another round of applause for all of our poets who performed in Audition Day 2? This brings round 2 to a close. So now what's going to happen is the judges will tabulate their scores from round 1 with their scores from round 2, and then we will announce the top 6 poets who will move on to the final showcase next week. So what I'm going to do is, in no particular order, I'm going to call out the names of the students who made it to the final showcase next week. When I call your name, please step forward. So in no particular order. First poet that I'm calling that is moving on to the final showcase next week, Nick. Please give it up for Nick. Again, in no particular order, poet who's moving on to the final showcase next week, Riley. Please put your hands together for Riley. Next poet moving on, Meek Boss. Please make some noise for Meek Boss. Next poet, EC. Please make some noise for EC. Next poet moving on to the final showcase, Fiona. And the last poet moving on to the final showcase next week is Ebo. Please make some noise for Ebo. Please give it up for all of our poets. Please, all of our poets step forward. One more time. Make lots of noise. Show your love. It's not easy to come up here. Everybody step forward. Please, everybody step forward. One more time for all our poets. Please give it up for yourselves.